Is the live show with me, Todd Standing, the man who takes people out into the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. Thank you for tuning into my live show today. I have so I went and did I was very interested and want to test the waters on going and talking to people that have no interest really. Like they're so. Anyways, I went to the Gathering of the Juggalos. The ICP, they're a band that are coming out on an expedition with me this year. They wanted me to come out and speak at their big festival that they have. And I was very interested in doing that to see what I could learn about putting the word out about the importance of the discovery of Sasquatch to just regular people so they put me in a big tent. Started out with about 200 people by the end of my seminar, talking about Sasquatch quite a bit. There was about 350 people. It was standing room only, and it went extremely well. I was very, very happy with it because, especially anywhere, we care about freedom. And what I wanted to talk about is how in the wilderness to be wild is to truly be free. And the more that we disconnect with the wild, the more that we don't care about trees and plants and wildlife, and specifically nature, the more we disconnect to all that, the more we become domesticated, the more we lose our freedom, the more you depend on electronics and technology, and the more you separate yourself from nature, the more you become domesticated, the less free you become. And I didn't have much trouble getting that concept across. It really resonated with people. And in every single way, I want you all to reconnect with your natural self, your natural being, starting even with your food, organic, sustainable. Uh, you know your doctor, you know your dentist. Do you know your farmer? Do you know where your food comes from? Do you know if your animals that you're consuming have been tortured and lived a brutal life, or if they were happy and healthy, and you're buying your food from those kind of sources? All this stuff matters, guys. It matters because that's what the discovery of Sasquatch is all about. It's about reconnecting with the wilderness, reconnecting with wild, because they are the ultimate apex species in wilderness here in North America, and in China where there's Yeti, and Australia where the Yowie is, you know, the Yeren in Russia, the list goes on and on. All these beings, wherever they exist in nature, they are the apex species. And there's no denying that. I mean, you have to accept that if they exist, which I suspect the vast majority of you are on that plane, we know they exist, or we strongly believe they exist. I'm not a believer, I'm a knower. Don't ever call me a believer. This is what I do for a living. This is my job. This is my life. I am a Sasquatch researcher. That's my job. Fill that out for your income tax return. What's your job? Sasquatch researcher. Everything I do, the directing, the expeditions, the seminars, it's all about promoting and expanding this research and facilitating the discovery of the species commonly referred to as Bigfoot. I like to use the term Sasquatch because I find it's very respectable. So let's even talk about that. How do you feel about that? Let's discuss that concept of wildness or wilderness, and as opposed to freedom, because it's a concept that I didn't even know I was going to talk about that, guys. I literally go out to these seminars and I just roll right from the heart. I'll get a feel for the audience. I don't have, like, you see Jeff Meldrum, the great Jeff Meldrum. He's got a whole slide presentation. He clicks stuff. He's got his little jokes that he tells with his pop-ups, and it's a wonderful presentation. I don't do that. I'm very just feel it and go with it. And I was literally being driven there by one of the ladies on a little cart, and she's talking to me about how she just appreciates wildness and wilderness. And I was like, she wanted her son to be more. She actually, we talked about that concept of wildness and freedom, because I went to America. I went to the United States of America, and where the concept of freedom is supposed to be paramount amongst Americans. And I give them a lot of credit. I do. I feel in Canada we're doing a crap job right now. We have a Western dictator, and we keep voting his ass in. And I don't want to be political on the show, but it's really like freedoms are being removed from us for, and that's a whole other concept and topic. But um, freedom is extremely important, and wildness and freedom are bullets and guns, peanut butter and jam, aren't they? Or maybe I'm wrong. Let's talk about that if we have those questions. So let's get into some questions. Hello, Kayla. Hello, Blue Vandal. Sarah, how are you? Hi, Todd. Good to see you. Thank you, Noob Talk 101. Hello, everybody. Aloha from Hawaii. That's so awesome. I love all the places and the people that come from all over the world, really. Thank you for tuning in today. Boom, Andy. That's the thing with us. It's the boom. That's the Sasquatch. Setting greens via chat. Mindspeak. That's another thing, isn't it? That is an important concept. Such an important concept that I talk about, that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do a lot of guest speaking now, guys. And I don't know if it's going to be Sasquatch related. I'm working with people. There's a lot of new people that I'll be working with that really are building their fame, not particularly on Sasquatch. Even Survivor Man, I mean, he's got a lot to do with Sasquatch, but sustainable survival. I mean, that man is a hero when it comes to the changes that he's fighting for on our beautiful planet. And and he can talk anywhere. And Todd Stanley is a Sasquatch researcher, but I can talk anywhere about anything. The concept of Sasquatch always comes up. That's what I do. But I can talk other things. I can talk Iceman training. I can talk wilderness and tracking and ecosystems and what I'm seeing going on. So maintenance worker, hey brother, keep it going. Boom, thank you, my friend from Nia Bay. What up? What up? What up? Hello, Anthony. Hit the like button, folks. Thank you, Blue Vandal. Everybody's saying hi. Good day, Todd. Come down under. Oh man, I'd loved. I just got an email, a really cool email from a lady in Australia. Unfortunately, so my new colleague that I just sent home, Adam, is in Melbourne, and Melbourne, I'm very aware, is on like 8 hours from Queensland. I got an incredible story about this lady and some events that she has going on with the Yowie in Australia, and I'm very excited to come to Australia. That's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Australia and people from Australia have been embracing me and calling me for over a decade, and I just need to get stop making excuses and get my ass down there because I just need it badly. So love your show. Thank you, Dave Yara. Julie, hey Todd, always good to see you. Ever go back to your area to look? So Julie asks, hey Todd, always good to see you. Ever go back to area you took the picture of Jane? Not much. It's hella difficult to get to. Basically, no, no, I'm not really doing that. Where Jane and Jake were filmed, those expeditions are literally like at least 3 days in, sometimes four. Uh, and actually, it's getting worse with all the blowdown, and the trails are all busted up. And there used to be a guide, an old trail guide, that would go through there with a chainsaw on his horse and bust up the trail. That's not happening anymore. So what took me 3 days to get in to where I filmed Jane and Jake into that particular area will now take me maybe four, at least 4 in 4 outs, 8 days, just to stand there for an hour and then bail out of there. So it's literally, if I stay there for a day, it's 4 in 4 outs, eight plus a day is nine. That's brutal. And so and there, that's not a good way to do an expedition when you're moving like that. And I don't know, it's just not good. It's just not working out. So we're generating immense success. Jane comes around, man. Jane was calling to us. Jane was got tree breaks. Jane's here at Jane's around our base camp. So we don't need to go and it's nice to have them come to us, to have the freedom to make that choice. So there's no versing them. There's no maybe pushing them a little bit, making them feel uncomfortable. I just don't want to do that. That's not what this research is, because we don't need to do that anymore. The tongue. Who is that? Damn, I miss you, Todd. Who's the tongue? Oh, well, I'm glad you miss me. I'm here most Wednesdays, or every second Wednesday, because it's expedition season, right? Nameless Preacher. Hello, bro. Waves from the Bear Paw Mountains. Hello, waves back. Everything okay? So people are talking among themselves. How would you recommend someone start looking for Bigfoot in local parks? I haven't been hearing about any sightings in recent years. Well, if you haven't been hearing about sightings, they're possibly not there. So, hmm. I look for tree breaks. Tree breaks is the start. Wasn't that my last video? Tree breaks? My last Sasquatch Sunday? I don't even remember. So, and I don't know. I've got so much stuff. Oh my God. I'm up late and just a lot of things going on. So this discovery process is moving forward so nicely, guys. I'm so proud of the movement forward that we have, the new people helping out. Kyle's doing the podcast on Saturday. I have another coming on Tuesday, another coming on Thursday. Just teaching people like crazy, all these new people on board, excellent new students, excellent new colleagues and friends. So just everything is growing so exponential. I'm so happy. So, but anyways, how do you start a new spot? You got to feel into it. Look for the breaks, look for the sightings, um, and then once you get contact with Sasquatch, now you have to now they have to accept you. So it's a hell of a process. I mean, it takes years. Like with gorillas, it takes 8 years before they habituate a gorilla troop where people can come around and interact with them. So, and in my experience, man, I've been doing this for so long, and I've had a little bit of an up and down relationship with a Sasquatch. Or I push them too hard. I do things that make them uncomfortable because there's no book in the discovery process. And each individual troop or tribe of Sasquatch people are going to have their own perspectives and opinions. They have leaders that like or dislike people that want to be discovered, want the discovery to move forward, or don't. So it's like that with people. It's like that with dogs. Like that with every animal is different. Some horses will kick your ass and bite you. Some you can ride, and they're amazing. They love people. So you just got to feel your way into it. There is no, and I'm loving the mentorship. I'm really able to help people out. That's what this show is about. So the advice I give you first is go look for the signs, go look for the tracks, go look for the sightings, find a good comfortable spot, and then just grow in the way you've seen me grow from my documentary. So learn and grow and have great success. Subscribe to the channel if you like, guys. Thank you for bringing it up, Andy. I met a guy in Idaho that shared fish with Bigfoot family in Alaska, sees them annually. That's awesome. Well, it's bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Send us an email or tell your friend to send us an email. We'd love to hear about that. Alaska Sasquatch is amazing stuff. So Dr. Mark in Texas, thank you for sharing. You're welcome, my friend. Yes, been working crazy hours. Haven't been able to catch live till today. How's life for you, hon? So you guys are talking amongst themselves. We're happy to have you, Kyla, back on board. And we need to figure out when mating season is. Can you just imagine them giving birth? Well, I don't think there's going to be a mating season, really. So, because again, I talked about this last time, primates like us, they're no different than us. Females can be impregnated every month. So, are the Sasquatch smart enough to breed at a certain time of year so babies are born in the spring, which would make them significantly more likely to survive? Yes. So, I definitely think so. But are accidents going to happen? Yes. People have accidents. Are the Sasquatch above that? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they were above that, if they really had good control over when a female was pregnated and not. In fact, from what I think the Sasquatch are so much more in tune with their bodies. From what I see about how they're able to feel rocks underground and pick them up and feel into the earth and know it's a open spot to jam a tree upside down, man, they would know. They would know when a female is pregnant. They'd be able to see the baby inside. Man, I'm talking like dolphin kind of frequency stuff, guys. I mean, even here's something that'll scare you. I've seen significant amounts of evidence over and over that makes it very, very clear to me that they have an ability to see that is much better than even what a dolphin can. So it's a scary. Is it a scary concept? It's just amazing. Like this discovery and this species is so absolutely astonishingly amazing that it just doesn't even surprise me anymore. Hey, beautiful girl. Did you have a? So this is my little girl who just turned 4. You want to say hi? You can say hi quickly. Say hi, everybody. Lots of people watching you. Did you have a? Did you? What do you think about Bigfoot? Yeah, I got that. And what do you think about Bigfoot?
He's great.
He's great. Yeah. Did you go to the research area? Did you hear a Bigfoot making sounds for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you left him a rock. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you? Are you happy about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like
And
the
I left
wilderness?
him an apple.
You left him an apple. You
Yeah.
did, and he took an apple, didn't you? So this sweet little girl put an apple up on a tree, touched an apple, with our other girl Ashley, who's a colleague of ours, and had a Sasquatch take them. So that's wonderful. Okay, you go upstairs, nice girl. You go upstairs, please.
I just want to get fly for a minute.
Okay. So, in case you're not aware, I am a father, and probably a Sasquatch researcher is number two. Being a dad for me is absolutely never number one. I cherish and love my children, and I want them to grow up. And I fight as a parent, as a member of this community, as a human being on this beautiful earth. Human. This, and in case you don't know, I'd like to mention this too. Something I've recently learned: the term human, what exactly it means. In case you don't know, this is amazing. Hue is, as you know, hue saturation. It's a form of light, and man is short for manifest. So literally, the term human is a manifestation of light in this physical body. Tear, beautiful. I mean, isn't that amazing? So we are literally a manifestation of light, of energy, and that is the definition of human, to be human. And you know, is there a dark light? Is there dark light energy? Is there good light? Is there white light? But I don't know who coined that term, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's very self-explanatory. And as a human connected to this beautiful planet that I love and treasure and adore, I mean, I've been all over North America, especially a little bit into Europe, but I love the plants, I love the wildlife, I love the oceans. I've been on the Pacific and the Atlantic sides and down to the Caribbean. I'm in love. That's my vacation spot. Is down in the Mayan Riviera on the Caribbean side. Is I lose myself over there with the connections to where the Mayan people used to live in the reef down there. I'm absolutely in love with this gorgeous planet and especially nature. Nothing impresses me. Like I do appreciate architecture from human beings. I appreciate the buildings and the structures that we make and the technology that we have. I do really, because I am domesticated and civilized, but nothing rings my heart bell like seeing beautiful animals in a coral reef surviving, a mountain or rivers or glaciers or the water and the earth and the berries that grow wild. Nothing brings me joy and pleasure like that. And I want to wish that back upon all of you, just like the Sasquatch do. They want to wish that back on all of you. They want you to reconnect with nature. And that's just so important, guys. And even take it to, if you are a hiker, if you do go trekking in the woods, get a book on the plants to eat, the berries to pick when they're in season. Learn about the flowers, man. I just learned about so many beautiful flowers that are edible. We're eating wild roses. Forgot the name of the northern bush something. Strawbush, northern strawbush. That's a flower. It's delicious, and you eat it. I mean, it's such a husbandry. It's so much fun, and as a father, as a human, taking up my children, I literally take little vases out with them now, and they just pick flowers, and we learn all the names of it, and because we have all that in our technology, if not in a book, you can get apps that just read all that stuff, and they're very reliable. So I've been afraid to do mushroom stuff for a long time because mushrooms are, you get, some of them are poisonous and they'll harm you. But so I try to stay away from that. But there's so much plants, the Danny, even the organic greens that we get at supers at stores are, they have all these incredible natural growing plants in them, like dandelion leaves, for God's sake. So much beauty out there. Go connect with it, guys. That's what the Sasquatch want us to do. That's what I want you to do. That's your nature side. Please go find a way. Walk barefoot. Reconnect. Love nature, love this planet in its natural. That's what nature is it's this planet in its natural form. To get it, natural. Do you understand what that means? And natural, connecting to your natural self, is wildness and is freedom. It's all in nature. Be natural. Be natural in your relationships with people. Be masculine and feminine. If it flows with you, no disrespect to other genders and stuff, but flow with your nature. I you know, it's a lot. So that's what this is all about. So let's keep going here. Where's more questions? Oops, what's going on here? Need some more questions here, guys. So lots of expeditions up and coming. So right now out in the wilderness, it's the strawberries that are beautiful and ripe and amazing. And yeah, just the last expedition, man. The the guys, one of the guys made himself a wildlife salad for him to go eat. First salad he ever foraged in nature. This is up in Canada, up in the north, where survival can be a little difficult, I guess, if you don't know your stuff. I see abundance everywhere with the plants and all the stuff that you can eat in nature when you know when to go after it. So lots of stuff. I think I need some questions here. Really need to figure out when mating. Oh, I already did that one. Why is this frozen? So what's going on here? So um yeah, Georgia. Hi from Georgia. What continent do you think Sasquatch originated from? I'm just going to go with the theory that we all originated from Africa, right? So, and then just branched out. And Gigantopithecus is my theory that I hold to. Um, yeah, Giganto branched out through Africa, and what we see in the fossil evidence, this is amazing. Is so there's times that the Gigantopithecus, you can see this in the we only have teeth, so lower jawbones, not even a full jawbone, I think, but Gigantopithecus was going through times of what's called arrested development. So you could see that the teeth weren't growing properly. So he was starving, as they believe, well, they know that they ate bamboo forests. I believe it is what the main source of food is, like a panda. But they had to diversify in their diet. They had to diversify in movement, and they had to move away and find new food sources. And plus they could survive better in cold weather, and that's what started pushing them all the way. And again, the theory is up out of Africa, north out of Africa, and then up into Europe, and then across the Land Barren Bridge. So I don't think there's really going to be any likelihood that they originated here in North America. So, uh, but I don't have enough knowledge about evolution to discuss that. So, need more questions, guys. I've actually never run out of questions. Ever, ever, ever. Am I on the wrong time or something? 114 people out there. There must be a problem with the. Must be some kind of problem with the platform, because it's telling me there's more questions and I can't get to them. This sucks. Um. So, for people that want to learn about expeditions, I used to think that June and July were the less productive times a year, and then the best times were September, October, just because that's when everything's getting fat. The elk are getting fat. The berries are growing. Easiest time to survive. It's like Mardi Gras up in up here in Canada. I think, and it's like that in most places. The salmon will spawn late. I don't know if salmon's. I don't know much about salmon spawning because here in Alberta and British Columbia, where I live, we're far away from the spawning sessions, and only spawning sessions I know are in the fall. So the salmon are spawning, the berries are ripe and coming out. Uh, Strawberries are crossing over with the bearberries, are crossing over with bunchberries. So there's a tremendous time of abundance, and with abundance comes extracurricular activity. But I think even more importantly is the Sasquatch are smart enough to know that winter is coming. Like they say on Game of Thrones, winter is coming, winter is coming. And knowing that winter's coming, man, winter's tough. Winter's brutal. It's months and months and months of it. So as soon as the snow starts flying, Sasquatch with their feet that are exposed, they don't have hooves like ungulates. So their exposed feet will cause them to be very susceptible to too much cold. They can't walk around on snow for too long, I don't think. So my theory is they just kind of cave up a little bit, eat elksicles, meatsicles, or whatever food they've gathered for the winter, and but it's bed down time. You're not free and running and playing like and spring, fall, and summer. So they're smart enough to know they're going to get bedded down, and that sucks. So what is going on, guys, with this freaking platform here? So somebody, oh, this is just not working. So all my questions are stopped. They're not coming through anymore. That sucks. Darn. because the questions are pretty important. So I'm going to call it out. YouTube is not functioning. They are not putting the questions up. Message are visible. Oh. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not showing any more questions here. Darn it. There seems to be a fault in YouTube. I have nothing going on anymore. Over 130 people are on live right now, and questions should be just pounding through, and they are not. So the platform has failed us. Without the platform putting up questions, I'm just going to talk about Bigfoot. What's another question that people like to ask me about Bigfoot? Oh my God. Let's do the question. This is my annoying question. I remember Eminem's talking about, I remember him in an interview talking about everybody wants to know what could he grow up in, how hard it is being white in a black neighborhood. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody always asks me about game cams. Game cams, game cams, game cams. I am so going to answer that question 1,000 more times. Why don't you put up game cams? So, and the answer, well, obviously the answer is when I put up game cams, the Sasquatch stop coming around. It pisses them off. It changes my intent. Blah, 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 blah. But I saw something that really inspired me. Probably one of the most authentic Sasquatch pieces of footage I've ever seen. I put it on my YouTube channel. It's this bird's eye, like hawk footage, where there's a camera watching over a hawk's nest, and just so happens a Sasquatch. And from what I see, it looks very much like a young male playing Sasquatch, moving the way a Sasquatch moves, acting the way a Sasquatch would act, walks under this cam, which made me think maybe that'd be kind of cool to do that. But again, it puts a negative intent out there. It means I'm putting out the apples for me to get photographs and pictures of them. And so I don't really want to do that. Oh man, there's really no more questions popping up here. That's awful because I know it's not you guys. That sucks, YouTube. Never saw this happen before. Really, really sucks. Absolutely no more questions are propagating. And this live show was about the questions. Literally, literally. Okay. Oh, so I got texted oh, there we go. Sorry, I was gone. I got colleagues texting me questions because YouTube is not functioning. Thanks, YouTube. Great. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. I'm supposed to say the platform that cannot be named, like Voldemort from Harry Potter, because if you say bad things about YouTube, they bury you and hide you. Um, is there anything happening at the spot where Survivor Man, this is from Darren. Thank you for texting me, Darren. Darren's a friend and colleague who has my personal number. Is there anything happening up at that site? Yes, there's new tree breaks. There's been a couple of sightings. There's been a photograph taken from James, which I did a video about. And then I just, last time I went up there, one of the expeditioners, it's scary up there. It's terrifying. It's getting steeper every year. And what's actually happening up there, it's not that the mountain's getting steeper. What's happening is, so the mountain is literally like this steep that we go up. So, and what's happening is every year it rains and it snows and it washes it down like this. So trails that were probably no more than 10 inches wide are now 3 inches wide. So instead of being able to walk like a little bit comfortably, and the mountain goats are making these trails up there and the bighorn sheep, instead of walking on a 10-inch trail comfortably, you're walking in a trail where you got to put your foot in front, and even the trail is just getting washed away in sections where you're literally stepping sideways on a mountain, and you see cliffs all along the sides. So it's getting freaking terrifying to get up there, and that's just erosion. I didn't expect that to happen, especially so fast. I used to run around there and play quite a bit up on top of that mountain. I don't do that so much anymore at all, actually. Not because I'm not young and crazy anymore. I'm still younger and crazy. I'm getting younger and younger as I get older. But it's just dangerous. And I worry because I'm always going up there with people now. Because I want to show people the spot. I want to make sure that people know the way. And so few people know the way. And it scares me. So there's one local guy that knows how to get up there. Survivor Man can't. He wouldn't know the way. So I don't know. Maybe he could backtrack it because he's really smart with his footage. But man, it's a tough. You got to meander up a little mountain goat path and follow your spot through this, and boom, there it is. You'll know you get there when there's a lower fire pit and an upper fire pit. The last expedition just got up there. It was tough, and people had some anxiety, and that's not going to do us any good. So, because that'll keep the Sasquatch away, and that's what happened last time I went up. So, I'm gonna cut the show short, guys, because YouTube has crapped the bed. So I bet you there's 1,000 questions down here, and they're just not coming up. There's nothing I can do. Wonder what if I push some buttons. Hmm. Oh, wait, what just happened? There we go. All right. All right. Thousands of hundreds of questions. Okay. Let's get I'm sure these are right. Is this chat? Okay. There's people talking like Todd, you believe in cloaking? Okay, so we can do the show now. Um it's not that I believe or don't believe. I have colleagues that are like huge into cloaking and think it's something they do. And I just don't have the evidence, and I can't talk about something I don't know. So I don't talk about aliens because I don't know. I'm certain they exist. I'm certain I've had stuff that's happened that proves to me they exist, but I don't know enough about it. So, uh, and I've never experienced like a moment where I was like, man, I think I just got cloaked, you know? So it's just too speculative. And I simply don't have the knowledge. You asked me about Dogman. I don't know anything about Dogman. I've never seen any evidence of Dogman. So, but I'm glad people are doing this research. And hmm, I had an incident. Okay, I'll tell you about something. So I was mountain biking in an area called Golden, BC. I was coming through these trails called the CBT trails. Beautiful groomed trails, really nice spot. And so I came to this particular section of the mountain, and I was still a Sasquatch researcher. I go out to my research area, but I went to the Bugaboos, and the Bugaboos is really close to Golden. So, and I went out there a couple times. I was thinking about doing research there because it's much closer to me than Radium is, like less than half the distance. I was thinking about taking Survivor Man there, so I was doing quite a bit of time in the Bugaboos. I think I may have got a Sasquatch attracted back. Well, and I think he hit me with infrasound, and I never saw him. So what happened was I'm coming down a pretty simple trail, but you have to. I have a significant amount of experience on mountain bikes. I'm very well trained on a mountain bike. So I'm coming down a blue trail, a blue skill level, which is medium level trail, with my kid. My kid goes through a berm, no problem. I'm going through this berm, no problem. And suddenly I just stopped working. And I could see around me really well because I was going slower with my little boy, who was probably like 9 years old at the time, but he's an excellent mountain biker as well. So I was really watching around the terrain because I'm protecting my son, protective instinct. So I was looking around. I thought, so anyways, I just got zapped by what I think was a Sasquatch because when I woke up, there was a tree break right there. But something tells me that that Sasquatch was right there and I couldn't see him. So I just got a thing in my head where that Sasquatch was really, really close. And it was ridiculous. Like you get hit with I believe I got hit with infrasound because I just lost total control. Went right over the berm, smashed in like a dumbass, and injured myself, which was not cool for the Sasquatch to do that at all. So not cool. But I think he was really close, and I couldn't see him. So these are my instincts only. This is my heart telling me he was right there, super close. And I feel like now maybe you can say it was that like Harry and the Hendersons where the Sasquatch kind of pop out of nowhere. I've seen them do that a lot. And that's probably most likely what's happening is they're standing in a spot and they're so perfectly camoed that people are calling it cloaking. That's a definite possibility, guys. A real possibility. Because there's other people telling me stuff like someone shot a Sasquatch, it walks out in the middle of a field and it disappears. They don't disappear. They walk backwards in their tracks. So a lot of times what will happen is when a being is so intelligent and so amazing and they do something that's really, really smart and they outthink you, you think it's supernatural and you'll blame it on that. But in my experience, they're just so damn smart. They're just, you can't verse these guys when it comes to tracking because they're so freaking amazing. So that's all I have to say about that. How did Andy manage? Andy is a moderator here. What do you think about how to hunt guy and the website? I'm not going to talk about him. Why do they often risk coming close into cities? This is citizen. This is a really good question from citizen scientist. Are they coming close into the cities, or are they losing habitat? I would say, I think, no, I'm not going to say for a fact. This has all been their habitat. They used to run and play everywhere. This was all theirs. We just keep taking and taking and taking without considering that. So I just believe they're coming back home, coming back into, maybe a spot they haven't been to in 40 years, finding a way in. But it's also risky that they do that. And man, I'll tell you, I am definitively certain on multiple less than 5 times, 4 times. I know 4 situations where man, they've come so close into city areas, urban areas. It's blown my mind. I have trouble believing it, but the evidence is overwhelming. There was a Sasquatch there, like overwhelming. So, I mean, how could they do that without cloaking? Or even they don't even have to cloak. You could have a dozen eyewitnesses. Nobody gives a shit. So, or it's not that people do care. It's just that the authorities don't care. There was a sighting here in the national park in Banff in Alberta where I live, where a Sasquatch crossed the highway, and literally multiple trucks and cars all stopped and watched him cross right over the highway, jump up over the fence, and run up the hill in the winter and leave tracks. Did you ever hear about that? Because the only reason I found out about it is the wildlife officer colleague of mine was forced to investigate it, and nothing comes about it. It just so many people complained. Like literally, that freaking highway stopped, and dozens of people saw a Sasquatch plain as day cross the highway, jump a fence, and run up a mountain. Did you? That wasn't in the news. Fish and Wildlife don't accept that as happening. It was a guy in a fur coat that was an exceptional athlete wearing big sandal-like feet that could move faster than any man and jump higher than him. So he must have been wearing stilts with springs. It was basically Inspector Gadget in a fur, like just the stupidest crap they come up with. They just dismiss it, right? So it's really frustrating. So how many sightings are really going on there? Who takes the time to call? Who do you even call? The BFRO? Like I don't know who. Like, I don't know. So how much is really going on? So I don't know. I don't know how much this is going on. How much this is affecting us? How often they do this? But it's not helping the discovery process, or is it? Maybe it is, huh? But yeah, so that's my perspective on that question. So many questions here. I'm so happy. It looks so cool to see hundreds of questions back. Dave, use the name, either type it or cut it or paste it. Shawnee National Forest. I did a big scroll through the questions, so I missed a whole bunch here. Does your name show highlights in orange? Poster name? I don't know. Hi Todd, another Georgian. Could you repeat the story of you injuring your leg on a tree snag? Well, it wasn't a tree snag. It was literally. I don't see it very often, but so a tree just. This is ridiculous. A tree falls down and branches get broken off in sections for whatever reason. The tree even rolls down a hill, branches get broken. So imagine like a piece of branch that was sticking out like that, but it's a branch. It's really tiny, like sticking out like that. And and I was running because you don't run from a Sasquatch. They were chasing me and like they'd smack me down on my back. Like you don't run from any predator, especially a Sasquatch. You just don't run. You don't do it. It's very dangerous. So anyways, I was just kind of panicking a little bit, running hard. I just ran into this tree. I kind of slipped and ran into a tree. And man, just impaled me in the leg. So, so my leg started bleeding really badly. It was a hole about 3/4 of an inch around, just big jam hole. Like that's how. Well, it was 3/4 of an inch. The piece of wood that stuck into my leg, and it went in at least an inch. Like it hit the bone. That's why it stopped. Hit the bone, so right through my muscle, smashed on the bone. I immediately just pulled my leg right out. Blood started dripping down my leg. And then I ran some more until I got exhausted. And I stopped running. Sasquatch sort of came away from me. It's coming down a really steep slope that I didn't know very well. It's kind of in, I don't know, you could never really know all this territory like the back of your hand unless you're a Sasquatch and live there. It's coming through a weird spot. There was a piece of ice that hadn't melted that I slipped and fell into a glacier creek. Half of my body at least was in the creek, and I couldn't get up. I just laid there. I was exhausted. I had no food. I was bleeding to death, boots full of blood. Just laid down to die. And even though I was going to get hypothermia because I just fell in freezing cold water and I wasn't ice trained at the time. So I only started ice training about 3 years ago. This happened 10 or plus years ago, probably. But, anyways, I woke up the next day. And see, I'm telling the story again. This event that happened, not a story. This experience that I went through, I'm telling it again because there's a new perspective on it, and I want you all to hear this. So the Sasquatch pulled me out of the creek, out of the shadows, up into a spot where the sun could hit me, and so no food, hadn't drank water, bleeding profusely. Like my boot was just, my foot was just scabbed and bloody and messy. All the blood just went right down into my boot, and I should have died. Should have never made it home. But I woke up and I could see where I was dragged out and up. So a Sasquatch dragged me. Nothing else can do that. No human being was out there. I was in the goddamn middle of nowhere. Sasquatch chasing me. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, Sasquatch. The Sasquatch dragged me up, put me at higher ground. I woke up at approximately, so this happened during the night, probably around 4 in the morning ish. I fell down into this creek, should have died. So, and I woke up at about 2 o'clock the next day. So, what is that? 10 hours later, approximately. Sun beaming on me. And this is what I used to say. This is how the event has changed through my experience and knowledge now. Thanks to going to Nia Bay and all the people that I give credit to Vivian and Caitlin, who were there with me in Nia Bay, and Larry and Analia, and of course Brian, and the other Native people that interacted with me, because they told me a story that made me understand that I literally, I used to say that the sun got shiny, and I just felt an energy in me, and I got up. It wasn't the sun, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It was not the sun that empowered me to get up. It was the Sasquatch. They empowered me to stand my ass up, go back down to the water, take a big, huge drink. I remember looking at my leg, going, "It's like fixed." Like I tore the rip open, looked at the huge mark in my leg, and it was all closed with a concoction. I can't. It smelled like pine or sap. It was definitely sap, but there was more in it. It was coagulate. It was way too hard. Like sap doesn't coagulate hard like that so fast. And I could see it wasn't light colored like pine sap, especially Rocky Mountain Douglas fir or lodgepole pine. Those are the two major pine species. There was a lot of other, maybe mud, maybe clay mixed into it. There was plants and debris. Like it looked like a concoction I'd never seen before. Believe me, I recognize pine sap and the clay and everything. This was some mixture. And man, anyways, I got my ass home, foraged berries to survive, but I was literally empowered to stand back up. That's not the first time, not the last time that Sasquatch have done that to me. They've empowered me to do certain things that keep me alive, that have literally saved my life. So yeah, I owe that. I should be dead, and the Sasquatch absolutely saved my life that day. And I can end this story too by going back and telling you about the spiritual experience of get up. That was the second time a Sasquatch has done that to me in my life, where I lay down to die, and they just send an energy into me and tell me to get up. And I used to think it was like a drill sergeant in my head saying up, but even it wasn't the words up; it was a feeling up. I never heard up in English because they don't know up. But I felt the desire to stand, that I could visualize myself standing, and magnificent. How many times has this happened to people? So now I'm saying, not only did they save my life by pulling me up out of that water, by fixing my leg, but by empowering me to stand up on all those levels. That's why they're my teachers. That's why they're this incredible, amazing, magnificent beings that exist on an incredibly higher level, higher frequency, higher plane of existence. And that's why this discovery, my friends, is so important. So incredibly important. And I'll end this story by telling you that the look on the doctor's face. I didn't take pictures of it. The wound healed up like I've never had an injury healed up. Like I've had stitches on spots before, like this. I got some stitches here from a little knife incident that I had. But it was like, I think it was 5 stitches across my finger, and the mark is still there. I remember it's on this leg, and just looking at it, holy crap, man, had to be this leg. There's like nothing. Oh, okay, I can see a little bit of a pinkish shoe on my knee, but I mean, it's like it was huge. Like it should have been bigger than this. I remember the doctor looking at it because I went home exhausted, slept for 2 days and ate, slept and ate, going to the bathroom just to get my energy back up. Went to the doctor. Even after I had a shower, the thing didn't come off. I went to the doctor and he looked at it. And he's like, "Man, that's some impressive work." Because I told him, well, he could see how big the hole was and how big the marking was. But he's like, "Man, if I pull that off, it's gonna rip open. It's gonna tear stuff apart. This stuff is sticky and hard and coagulated." But he says it smells clean, Todd. Like if it stays clean, it's not infected. It's been there for probably 3 days at the time it had been there. Just leave it. And then he actually had to say to me, "Who did that?" I didn't know what to say. I was really back in those days. It was still hard to tell people, man, that's a Sasquatch. That these incredible beings are doing this. A medicine man, an incredibly amazing medicine man, much latched onto me, fixed my ass up, saved my life. And what do you say about these beings? Do you understand why I'm so passionate? Are you getting a little idea about why this discovery is so holier than wow important? Like it'll change us forever, guys. This is not no disrespect to the amazing gorillas and the incredible chimpanzees and the amazing Jane Goodall. This discovery, guys, it's just got implications that will change us, change the world forever in a beautiful, positive way. We need it so bad, don't we? I think we do. So that's how amazing the species are. So um, look at all these questions. There we go. Have there been any activity? Oh, there you go. You already asked me that question in a text. Thank you, Darren. What's scarier, Bigfoot or commies taking hold in Canada? No question about it. The commies are much scarier. New footage is coming out. Um, Sockeye salmon running up the Fraser River right now. So it's yeah, it's Fraser. That's a different part of British Columbia from you guys. I don't get the Fraser up here. So uh, yeah, it's August. Salmon are running already. That's amazing. We only get the Kootenai salmon on the Kootenai River. I study the Kootenai Sasquatch in Kootenai National Park, and they're just little. They don't go to the ocean, and they don't come around till October. Any plans to give more details on the incident where the Sasquatch cornered you and were pulled up by a flare? Oh, I'm not good. I'm not doing. I think I just did that when I talked about that recently. I don't like talking. I'll tell you something about that. I don't like to use this word. I people that know me will understand the magnitude of when I hate watching that footage of me with the flare. That was such a bad night. Like when I watched that footage, I remember the physical pain my body was in. Like I was never that was the most tired I'd ever been in my life. So I hadn't been eating properly for days. So I was starving. I'd been hiking till my legs burned. I don't know where I got the power to move in my legs. They were burning and burning. I was exhausted. Like I was admiring what a human body is capable of. Just pushed myself to the beyond exhaustion, beyond tired. And when I fell asleep, I'll tell you this. So I fell asleep to go to sleep and just hope to sleep for like 6 hours. I didn't care how starving, hungry. I just needed to lay down. I was so tired, guys. Like I remember just like falling asleep and just like it was I actually laid down in an extremely uncomfortable position and I just didn't give a shit. Sorry for swearing. Apologies. But I was like, "Ugh!" I fell down and I was like sleeping halfway on the mountain on a rock and the first thing that came into my mind was the when my pickup would come and look at me. I was hoping that he wouldn't move me because it was obviously like a like slobber. I was so tired, like just shoot me tired. Just fell down and exhausted, and I just didn't care. And then the Sasquatch woke me up 2 hours later. Like they just wouldn't freaking. They were trying so hard to wake my ass up, so hard that literally, like when I take people by to show them, I show them the boulder that I slept beside. It was on Survivor, man. And literally the Sasquatch just popped his head right over the boulder. His head was like, I don't know. I could have just beyond the reach of me slapping it in the face, and went bah! At me. So I was done. Cracked the floor open. Like I was in a mental state that, you know, I hope few human beings ever experience in their lives. Like exhaustion, eating your own muscles, just tired beyond the point of being able to comprehend. I just wanted them to leave me alone. So tired, and they didn't give a they didn't give two craps about how exhausted I was. They wanted me back up the mountain for that spiritual animal ritual, and it happened. So I don't. But that's enough for now. All right, I can do a few more questions since YouTube is functioning very well. Hi, you said once that you wouldn't gift sugary items. They wouldn't know if it wouldn't make sense if it wasn't in nature. What about gifting natural honey? Oh yeah, I'm gonna try salt. Is what I want to do. That beautiful. We're getting a lot of that. I'm sure you have it. That Tibetan salt, I believe it is. Really beautiful pink salt. I want to gift that. Honey though, ooh, man, how does honey smell? I worry about attracting bears. Like I don't put salmon up. We put up a watermelon. That just was a disaster. Total disaster because the watermelon leaked fluid and I believe it let off a scent. The apples seem to be, I don't know, something's really working with the apples. And we put up some pears last time. Last time we went up, we didn't get any gifts taken. The little 8-year-old Sasquatch took nothing from us, and it was very frustrating. It even made sounds over by where the apples were, and the little amazing, incredible individual took nothing. So, but I'm not broken right now. The apples do get taken when the big Sasquatch come around. And I'm going to add, the only thing I'm going to add is just that salt. I've been wanting to do that for a while because salt is very rare and not in great abundance out there. Where did we go for me out? What? This is Don Pitts. Where did we go to for me out? What an expedition costs. So I think you're trying to ask me what does an expedition cost. Would love to go on one. Keep up the great work. Go to discoveringbigfoot.org. Go to the expedition page. There's videos and information there. So what's going on YouTube? Sorry about the YouTube stuff. It's working now though. So and I'm very grateful for this platform. Not sure what will happen, but isn't exciting part the unknown. Good luck getting more evidence this year. Thanks, Joshua. Man, that's important, huh? Making the discovery process move forward. It's really important. Do you meet with Steve from How to Hunt website? No, I have nothing to do with him. I've never called him. I've never made any contact with him, contrary to what's being said. I've had no zero contact with him at all. Welcome, Dave. What else we got here? Any info regarding more recent sightings on Bigfoot in East Coast, in particular state of Florida? So I have Kyle who does the podcast. He's down in Florida, and I did send him to go out and meet somebody, but most of the time, people will call me up and say all these amazing things and all these great things are going on and blah 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 blah. And you get out there and it's just most of the time it's very disappointing. And yeah, Kyle went out there, took the time. It's a frustrating thing working with people. It's very frustrating. That's unfortunately that's all I have to say about that. So YouTube is working now. Thanks for the info, Todd. Have you been back to where you guys were hit with the tree thrown by the Sasquatch? Well, in the documentary, I went back there. Now, this is from the tongue. Uh, that's what the guy calls himself. Uh, yeah, I've been back there. Just the most important. I've been back there a few times, but the most important time is when I went right back there. Right out, like it was winter when it happened. I went right back there in the spring. I wanted to film that log that was thrown at me, and the log is gone, guys. The Sasquatch, even the Sasquatch are doing this. This is so important. I've had half a dozen things that happen that are amazing occurrences, totally amazing. Like another example is our gifting site. The Sasquatch showed us that. They led us there. They showed us that spot, and we put apples up in this area. So it's like, I don't know, 80 yards from base camp. There's one hill off in this one distance that's just the perfect spot for them to be safe and take the gifts. They have the nice high ground up there. They led us there by making sounds up there. They literally made sounds. We went up there. I was like, oh, this is a really cool spot. Then we came back to base camp that night. They busted a tree up there. But listen to this. This is what they always do. They busted a tree. So we go up there and we hear a snap. We go up there. There's a busted tree on the ground, like a tree break that's busted. The tree's there broken. Um, we've been led there multiple times now, so we're going to start leaving apples there. So we leave apples there. The apples get taken, and for the rest of that year, I'm showing people this busted tree, busted tree. I come back next year. Guess what? The broken tree, gone. They take it. I am theorizing they have like a little area of things where this is a log that hit Todd's stand. This is the tree that we broke to attract him up here. This is that. So all these, there's multiple times I've seen them where something amazing happens, and they seem to take take the, what do you call that? It's sentimental value or something. Take the sentimental object as value and take it somewhere. So um, I don't know. I think that's amazing. I've left another gift for them, but they don't take my little trinkets and gifts and things. No, only one thing ever. What used to happen was when I had long blonde hair, not so long ago. I used to have it in a ponytail, as you can see in my shows, and I would take the elastic out, take the hair out, and put that up. They always took that. They stopped ripping hair out of my head when I did that. So, and that's also amazing to know because gorillas and orangutans and chimpanzees do that with people that have long hair. So that's the end of our show. Sherry says this really sucks because this was my first time catching live. Well, we'll do it again, Sherry, and it did work out. So we got a whole hour in today. I've never encountered orbs, and let's just do one more. Okay. So Michael Manning says cloaking is what is real. That I'm having a hard time handling how they do it. But that's the great topic. I've seen the videos. The creatures are invisible, but yet can make out few features on video. That's cool. Good for you. That's awesome. Do the research. This is a discovery, and I'm not focused on that because I don't have any evidence. If you have evidence of that stuff, that's amazing. Good for you guys. Absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for tuning to the show today. Extremely likely I'll have a show next Wednesday. So looking forward to that. And questions. And if you want to go on the Discovering Bigfoot podcast and more, if you want to talk to me, send your encounters or your evidence or your pictures or your videos to bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Because, man, it's expansion, it's growth. The Discovering Bigfoot process is happening. You all are amazing. Thank you very much for tuning into my live show. Thank you very much for taking the time. I hope you enjoyed it. And until I see you all next time, there will be a Sasquatch Sunday video. There will be a live, or there will be a podcast on Saturday. So Saturday podcast, Sunday live. Sunday will be my Sasquatch Sunday show. That'll be a good one. Lots to be learned. And until next time, until you see me again, please take care of yourself. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.